guess I didn't see him. What are you looking so sad about, champ?
I'm surprised at you. I mean, I'm really insulted. I mean, that's not right what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I mean, I'm getting a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talk about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, one time during my career, I was on a Bum of the Month tour.
I would have been a bum compared to you.
What's happening, my people? It's Cast Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right, you know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Box Storian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. Miss Cass, Mike Mazik, salute to everyone and welcome to another episode of Cass Sports, the Box Storian. Today, the life and career of Oleksandr Usyk. The life and career of the cat, Oleksandr Usyk. Has the family today. It's Friday, back at the end of another big week of boxing history. First Friday of the month, so we're going to take a look at an active boxer today. We're going to look briefly at the early life, personal life, amateur career of Oleksandr Usyk. Then we're going to work our way through his resume, his bigger fights, like his first title fight, Marco Huck, the two Anthony Joshua fights. He had two Daniel Dubois fights, two Fury fights. We're going to take a look at all of them today. And got a nice card tomorrow, too. That's the one with Shaqy and Cool Boy on the Pitbull Roach. So, yeah, Janabek was caught dirty, so I don't know what happened with that fight, but yeah, it's a pretty good card tomorrow. Let's see, get back to another weekend of live boxing. But today we're going to take a look at Oleksandr Usyk, one of 5 2-weight undisputed champions in the 4-belt era. Usyk was the first man to be 3-time undisputed in the 4-belt era. He won cruiserweight, then he won heavyweight twice. Okay, did it before Bud did it. Bud did it in 3 weight classes, but Usyk did it 3 times. Twice at heavyweight. The undisputed twice at heavyweight in the 4-belt era. Okay, we're going to talk about that today. As in time permitting, since Usyk in the heavyweights, we're going to take a look at the top 10 current heavyweights. All that today on Cast Sports the Box Historian, bringing you all that boxing history. Salute to Mike Masick in the building so far. Hope everybody enjoyed yesterday's show on Sonny Liston. Okay. So let's get started today. Let's take a quick look at that card again before we get started. The big one tomorrow. Sure, it's not the only one, but it's the biggest one. Yeah, I know Janet Beck and Lara. I was looking forward to that one. Janet Beck failed his drug test. That's for some kind of banned substance. So let's see what's happening with that. Did they get a replacement for him or what? Then we're going to get started with our fight of the day. Yeah, this is coming from San Antonio. Roach Pitbull. Lara Johan Gonzalez. Okay, Johan Gonzalez replaced Janet Beck. Okay, Shaki, Pool Boy, Jesus Ramos, Shane Mosley Jr., Frank Martin back in action, Francis Bartholomew. That should be a good fight there. But Bartholomew ain't no slouch. Isaac Lucero, Roberto Valenzuela Jr. All right. Luke Nunez, Hector Sosa. Got one from Monte Carlo, too. 3. One from Australia. 4. Copenhagen, Germany. 5. Santiago, Panama. Okay, but the big one is the one from San Antonio, headlined by Lamar Roach and Pitbull. Okay, let's get started now with today's fight of the day to start things off. Okay, so without further ado, the fight of the day. Okay, today's fight of the day is Carlos Monzon versus Jose Napales, February 9th, 1974. A clash of all-time greats. King Carlos Monzon against Mantequilla, Jose Napales. February 9th, 1974. A clash of all-time greats. Yeah, definitely 2 all-time greats. These 2 fighters. Let's take a look at it. Now, by this time, no one questioned the greatness of Jose Napales, the former Cuban who had immigrated to Mexico after Fidel Castro outlawed professional prize fighting. And he had established his elite status long before he finally received a chance at a world title in 1969. In fact, the only reason he had moved up to welterweight was because his reputation preceded him, and the champions at 135 and 140 were unwilling to face him. Always cool and composed in the ring, like a panther patiently stalking his prey, Napales had vanquished a long list of top-shelf fighters, including Curtis Coates, Emil Griffith, Clyde Gray, Ernie Lopez, Billy Backus, and Hedgemon Lewis. In short, by 1974, the Hall of Fame credentials of Mantequilla were more than secure. Okay? And there's a shot of Mantequilla. They call him Mantequilla because that means butter. And he was smooth, like butter. Slick technician in the boxing ring. Mantequilla, the great Jose Napales. So at almost 34 years of age, and with some 80 pro fights on his record, who could blame him for cashing in by accepting a duel with Carlos Monzon, the middleweight king of the world? Now, sports fans were attracted to a clash between two big names and dominant world champions, while serious followers of the fight game, aware that Napales wasn't even a particularly large welterweight, regarded the matchup as something less than compelling. After all, Mantequilla was a former lightweight, while Carlos Monzon was a big middleweight, tall, strong, and rangy, with a sledgehammer right hand. And plus, King Carlos had never fought under middleweight, okay? And Napales was a former lightweight, so everybody said this is a big size differential here. But then, again, Monzon did not exactly look like the second coming of Harry Greb in his last two outings. Decision wins over Emil Griffith and Jean-Claude Bautier. A minority of pundits wondered if the champion might be in decline and ripe to be foiled by a smart veteran fighter who's not only highly skilled, but boasted some serious power in his deadly left hook. Okay? Was King Carlos right for the picking? Was he slowing down? There's a shot at King Carlos in a previous fight against Emil Griffith. Okay? Monzon versus Napales took place in Paris, France, and the mood was electric, with a widespread sense that this one was an historic clash between two all-time greats. And for 2 rounds, the match lived up to those expectations. Despite giving away so much in terms of size, it was the challenger Napales who took the fight to the bigger man, darting inside and letting his hands go, while Monzon worked to keep Napales at bay with his longer reach. More than once in the opening frame, the crowd roared as Mantequilla pounced, attacking with fury and driving Monzon to the ropes. Yeah, early in the fight, Mantequilla had King Carlos on the back foot. Like right there, yeah. Early in the fight, he had King Carlos on the back foot, right? The Cuban kept the heat on in the second round, taking chances and pressing the fight until a minute into the round, a huge right hand from Monzon landed flush, catching Napales off balance and sending him staggering across the ring. Instantly, the glaring difference in size, strength, and power was confirmed. Not seriously hurt, the challenger went back to work, beating Monzon to the punch, slipping and countering, but his shots lacked the power to trouble the Argentinian. It was a bit like watching a 19th century battleship fire cannonballs at a modern-day nuclear aircraft carrier. Yeah, Mantequilla was landing and getting off first, but his shots just wasn't affecting Monzon. Okay, they just weren't having an effect. Still, the fight was an entertaining and fast-paced battle to this point. And while Monzon clearly took round 3, in the 4th round, Napales boxed with great skill, using his jab effectively, countering with precision, and raising the hopes of his fans. If he could somehow keep this pace, might he have a chance to out-hustle and outwork Monzon over the 15-round distance? Yeah, his fans were thinking if Matt DeQuilla could keep this pace, might he have a chance to outwork Monzon and take the fight? The answer to that question is a resounding no. The fifth round was the beginning of the end, as the tiring Nepalese started to give ground, allowing the champion to come forward behind his big right hand. Monzon opened up with his big guns now on his now stationary challenger, teeing off with heavy, accurate punches, hurting Nepalese for the first time and injuring his right eye. In the final seconds of the fifth round, Monzon appeared on the verge of just one clean blow away from a knockout win. And it was something of a miracle that Nepali survived to hit the bell to end the sixth round. In the fifth round, yeah, it is Monzon. Starting to take over now. Almost had Nepalese out of there at the end of the fifth. Okay? Almost had him out of there. Round 6 was more the same. A fading man DeQuilla fought back as best he could, but he was outgunned. Another Monzon right hand smashed home, and now the man they called Shotgun, with the detached air of an experienced stevedore or bricklayer, went about the task of methodically beating up the Cuban exile, hammering him over and over with heavy shots. At one point, he even held Nepalese by the chin with his left hand before clubbing him in the jaw with a huge right hand. Clean, thudding punches rained down and had the challenger almost helpless before the bell rang, and Nepalese teetered back to his corner on very unsteady legs. Yeah. Went back to his corner on very unsteady legs. Mike Rim in the building. What's up, Mike Rim? King Carlos Monzon, Jose Nepalese, the fight of the day. After the sixth round, King Carlos had a big size differential because he had never fought below middleweight. Nepalese had started out all the way down at lightweight, and King Carlos, by the sixth round, the size differential was showing it. And after the sixth round, Nepalese was very unsteady when the bell rang. And that was it. When the bell rang for round 7, Nepalese stayed on his stool as his trainer, Angelo Dundee, turned to the referee and signaled surrender. In a fight which clearly demonstrated the necessity of weight classes, a great smaller man was simply no match for a great bigger man. Following their defeat, Nepalese wisely returned to the welterweight division to defend his title several more times before retiring after a loss to John L. Stracey. Meanwhile, King Carlos proved unstoppable, exiting the sport a year after Nepalese did, but only after notching a record 14 consecutive defenses of his undisputed middleweight crown and not suffering a loss for the last 13 years of his career. And there you have it, the fight of the day. It's run by King Carlos Monzon. All right. So now, today it's the first Friday of the month. We're going to take a look at an active fighter, Oleksandr Usyk, today. We'll take a brief look at his early life, amateur career, personal life. Then we're going to work our way through his resume. You know, his first title fight, Marco Huck. 2 fights with Daniel Dubois. 2 with Fury. 2 with Joshua. And others. Life and career of Oleksandr Usyk. The Cat. There he is. There's the Cat. It's Friday. Got the big card tomorrow. Lara is fighting. I just looked at it. I forgot already. Oh, I got it right here. Janet Beck was replaced by, let me get back up there to it. Yeah. This was very short notice. This guy had to come in on fight week. Yeah, Janet Beck was replaced by Johan Gonzalez. Yeah. Very short notice. Yep, he came in right on fight week. But hey, probably one of those guys that stay ready. You stay ready. You don't have to get ready. Okay? All right, let's take a look at the cat, Oleksandr Usyk from Ukraine. How's everybody? It's Friday, end of another big week of boxing history. We got Don King coming up Monday. Don't forget, that's going to be a good one. Okay, start out with this one. There's the cat right there. All right. Anybody else coming? No. All right. The life and career of Oleksandr "the Cat" Usyk. Okay. Oleksandr Usyk is a Ukrainian professional boxer. He has held the unified heavyweight championship since 2025 and the Ring Magazine title since 2022. Now, he has held the undisputed championships in two weight classes, cruiserweight and heavyweight, and is the first male boxer to become three-time undisputed champion in the four-belt era, because he became undisputed twice at heavyweight and cruiserweight. Okay, he did that before Bud beat Canelo. So Usyk was the first male to beat Bud was the first one to beat three weight divisions, but Usyk was three-time because he did it twice at heavyweight when he beat Dubois this year. That was his second time becoming undisputed at heavyweight. Okay? And like I said, Usyk has fought in two weight divisions, cruiserweight and heavyweight, been undisputed in both of them, nicknamed the Cat. He's 6'3" tall, has a reach of 78 inches, and he fights in the orthodox stance. And currently in his professional career, he has a total of 24 fights, won all 24 of them, won 15 of them by way of knockout. The Cat. As an amateur, Usyk won heavyweight gold medals at the 2011 World Championships and 2012 Olympics, while accumulating a record of 335 wins against 15 losses. He turned professional in 2013, winning his first world title in 2016. By winning the undisputed cruiserweight championship in 2018, at the conclusion of the World Boxing Super Series tournament, Usyk became the first Ukrainian undisputed champion in history. Okay? First Ukrainian to be undisputed in history. Yeah, Loma never did it. You know, he tried. But he would have had it, but he went to the war, remember? He would have had it before Devin. What's up, BVO? BVO said, I got a doctor who specializes in women's health, a very skilled lip reader. BVO, salute. How are you today? Okay. BVO from Cleveland. Oleksandr "the Cat" Usyk today. Okay. All right. Okay. BVO. I'm not sure why I need to know that, but it's good to know, I guess. Okay, yeah, Usyk became the first Ukrainian undisputed champion in history. In 2021, Usyk defeated unified heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua to win the WBA, IBF, and WBO titles. In May 2024, Usyk defeated Tyson Fury to claim the WBC title and the undisputed championship in his second weight class. Okay? One of only 5 boxers to do so in the 4-belt era, to be undisputed in 2 weight classes. One of only 5. 2 of them are women. In July 2025, Usyk knocked out Daniel Dubois to become 2-time undisputed heavyweight champion, becoming the first male boxer, the first boxer to do so since Muhammad Ali, and first in the 4-belt era, 2-time undisputed heavyweight champion, okay? And Usyk was the first undisputed heavyweight champion since Lennox Lewis was stripped of the title on April 12, 2000, in 25 years. And he's also the first and only cruiserweight and heavyweight boxer in history to hold the world titles of all 4 major sanctioning bodies, right? In the 4-belt era. He previously held the undisputed cruiserweight championship from 2018 to 2019, and he's the first boxer to become the undisputed champion in these 2 weight classes since Evander Holyfield in 1990. I think Evander was 3-belt. Now, the Ring and the Boxing Writers Association of America named Usyk their Fighter of the Year in 2018 and 2024. 2-time Fighter of the Year, Usyk is. Making a lot of money, too. In February 2025, Sportico ranked Usyk at number 7 among the highest paid athletes of 2024, with an estimated income for the year of $122 million. Then in May of 2025, Forbes magazine put Usyk at number 11 in its ranking of the highest paid athletes in the world at the time. Okay? And up to, and he had earned an estimated $101 million up to that point. Okay? Let's look at his early life and education now. Yeah, Usyk making some dollars. It is a young Usyk right there. Yeah, I know BBO. Yeah. Yeah, Ukraine, he had like 350 amateur fights, BBO. Usyk did, yeah. Won 335 of them. That's an incredible amateur record. 335 and 15. But that's how they do it over there in Eastern Europe. You know, and he's 40 and only got like 24 fights. They stay in the amateurs a long time over there. Yeah. Let's look at his early life and education now. For Oleksandr Usyk. Yeah, Don King Monday too, BBO. I'm going to get it ready over the weekend. Brought to you by BBO Sports TV. Don King Monday. Now, Usyk was born in Simferopol, Ukraine, when it was part of the Soviet Union, on January 17, 1987, to parents originally from northern Ukraine. Now, his mother was born in the Chernihiv region, and while his father was a native of Sumy. His mother worked in construction and moved to Simferopol to study. His father was a Soviet military man who passed through Afghanistan working as a security guard in Crimea, and that's where his 2 parents met at. Usyk is the firstborn of his family, and he has 2 siblings. Until age 15, he played football or soccer. You know, over in Europe, they call it soccer football because it really is football. Because you can only touch it with your feet. Only way I can use the hands is a goalie. So that's really football. Al Booger in the building. What's up, Al Booger? Salute. Happy Friday. Oleksandr the Cat Usyk today. First Friday active boxer. Yeah, but he played football. Starting out, was very good at it. And he trained at the SC Taria Simferopol Specialized Sports School of Olympic Reserve. That was a football academy, or soccer academy. In 2002, Usyk switched to boxing. And he's a graduate of the State University of Physical Culture. In his second year of school, Usyk battled life-threatening pneumonia enduring nearly a year of illness and spending 2 months in the hospital before he recovered. Okay? Yeah, he was very sick, almost died. I think we talked about that before, discussing Usyk. Let's take a quick look at his amateur career. Okay? For Oleksandr, the Cat. At the 2006 European Championships, Usyk won the first 3 fights, but lost in the semifinal to Matvey Korobov of Russia. He then moved up to light heavyweight later, and he won the Stranger Cup in 2008. In February 2008, he moved up another weight class to heavyweight and was sent to the Olympic qualifier in Rosito, replacing European champion Denis Poyatska. There, Usyk defeated world-class Azeri Etchen and Daniel Price. Beat a couple world-class amateur fighters. At the 2008 Olympic Games, Usyk outpointed Nashan Nejati by 23-4, but he lost to Clemente Russo 7-4 in the quarterfinals. He came back and he qualified for the 2012 Olympics also. Fell short in 2008. So after the 2008 Olympics, he dropped back down to light heavyweight and he won gold at the 2008 European Championship. Then he later on moved back up to heavyweight. At the 2011 World Amateur Boxing Championships, Usyk defeated Artur Beterbiev and Timur Makhmadov to win the heavyweight title and qualified for the 2012 Summer Olympics. At those 2012 Olympic Games in London, Usyk won the gold medal, outpointing Artur Beterbiev again, Tervel Pulev, and Italy's Clemente Russo, outscoring Russo by 6-3 in the gold medal match. So he fell short of the gold medal in 2008, but then he went back in 2012 and won it. Okay? So Usyk retired from amateur boxing with 350 fights. He won 335 and only lost 15. Now, prior to turning pro, Usyk competed in the heavyweight division in the 2012-13 World Series of Boxing as part of Team Ukraine. And he won all 6 of his fights. Oleksandr Usyk. Okay, so now let's look at his early professional career. For the Cat, there's him and the Klitschko's. He signed with K2, which is the Klitschko's promotional company when he first started out. He might be still with him. K2, remember the Klitschko's? Klitschko 2, they called it K2. Yeah, Usyk, early career. Usyk turned pro in late 2013 at the age of 26 and signed a promotional deal with the Klitschko brothers, K2 Promotional, fighting in the cruiserweight division, when he first turned pro. Started out at cruiserweight. On November 9th, 2013, Usyk made his pro debut by defeating Mexican fighter Felipe Romero by a 5th-round knockout. The following month, he stopped 30-year-old Epifanio Mendoza in 4 rounds. In his 3rd pro fight on April 26, 2014, Usyk made his debut in Germany on the undercard of Klitschko Lipa at the Koenig Pilsner Arena, defeating Ben Nassafour by a 3rd-round knockout. A month later, Usyk returned home and scored a 4th-round knockout victory over Argentine Cesar David Krentz, fought back home in Ukraine. Okay? So then he started rising up the rankings. Now this fight right there was in Andrei Krasayev, but this fight attracted 3.6 million viewers on Ukrainian television. Not bad. But rising up the ranks for Usyk. Usyk won his first title on October 4th, 2014, after beating South African boxer Daniel Brewer by a 7th round TKO. And this was for the interim WBO Intercontinental Cruiserweight title. Usyk defended the title 2 months later, stopping 35-year-old Daniel Venter in the 9th round. He was ahead on all 3 judges' scorecards at the time of the stoppage. He made another defense on April 18, 2015, against former Russian cruiserweight champion Andrei Kryazev. After 7 one-sided rounds, referee Mickey Vann finally stopped the fight in round 8 after deciding Kryazev had taken too much punishment. This win kept Usyk on course to a WBA title fight against then champion Marco Huck, but not yet. Kept him on course to get there though. But he wasn't ready to go up against Huck just yet. On August 29th, the South African light heavyweight champion Johnny Muller by a 3rd round TKO at the Sport Palace in Kiev, which saw Usyk control the fight with a jab. Usyk knocked Muller down twice in round 3, and although Muller protested, the referee saved the fighter with 1 second left in the round. The referee stopped the fight with 1 second. That's worse than Richard Steele did Malcolm Taylor. Damn, he let the man make it to 1 second. Wow, let's give him a chance to go over there and get that minute of rest and see what he looked like. 1 second. The damage was done then. If you was going to stop it, you should have stopped it way before 1 second was left. Well, I'm not the referee though, so. But anyway, he stopped it with 1 second left. No wonder Muller complained. Now, Usyk made a 4th and final defense against unknown Cuban boxer Pedro Rodriguez in a scheduled 12-round fight on December 12th at the Sports Palace. Now, Usyk won the fight, scoring his 9th straight knockout in as many fights. First dropping Rodriguez in the 6th round with an uppercut before the fight was stopped in round 7 after Rodriguez was knocked down again. Although Rodriguez did beat the count, but the referee went on and stopped it. This win put Usyk at the WBO's #1 position with a world title fight on the card for 2016. Okay, so now Usyk against Glowacki. I think this was Usyk against Glowacki. World Cruiserweight Championship. Usyk against Glowacki. There's him in Glowacki. Glowacki is Polish. Okay. In June of 2016, it was announced that Usyk would challenge undefeated Polish boxer Krzysztof Glowacki, who was 26-0 at the time. And Glowacki was a WBO Cruiserweight champion. And this fight was on September 17, 2016 at the Ergo Arena in Poland. So Glowacki was fighting at home, Gdansk, Poland. Okay? It was reported that Usyk's trainer, James Ali Bashir, wanted to recruit former world champion Antonio Tarver as a sparring partner. It was said that Tarver not only requested too much money, but also wanted to appear on the card as a co-feature, main event. So I guess Tarver didn't get to be a sparring partner. Now, Glowacki weighed in at 199.3 pounds, and Usyk came in slightly lighter at 198.7. Basically the same. The fight was shown live on Sky Sports in the UK. Okay. So let's see what happened between him and Glowacki. He's going for his first title, WBO Cruiserweight. Okay. On his way to undisputed. Now on the night, Usyk outpointed Glowacki after an exciting 12-round fight with the judges scoring it 119-109 and 117-111 twice, all for Usyk. The decision win also ended Usyk's knockout streak. Now Usyk dominated the fight with his footwork, superior hand speed, and sparing jab, injuring Glowacki's eye early in the fight. causing a cut that continued to bleed for the remainder of the contest. Okay? So now he's the WBO Cruiserweight Champion. Oleksandr is. Then he went up against who is this? This is Makunu. Usyk versus Makunu. Or something like that. Y'all see his name right there. Makunu. That's what I'm gonna call him. Okay. So Usyk announced he would be making his American debut on the Bernard Hopkins versus Joe Smith undercard on December 17th, 2016. The fight would take place at the Forum in Inglewood, California, home of the Lakers. On November 11th, K2 Promotions announced Usyk will be defending his WBO title against 28-year-old South African boxer, Labiso Makunu. Makunu previously lost to Ilunga Makabu by 7th round stoppage, although being ahead on the scorecards at the time. Right? Yeah, when he got stopped by Makabu, he was ahead on the cards. Yep. So him and Makunu. So the fight started out slow, causing the fans in attendance to boo with displeasure. But the pace picked up after the first couple of rounds when Usyk began breaking down Makunu with his trademark accurate combinations. Usyk scored a knockdown in the 6th round and 2 more in the 9th round, causing referee Lou Moret to wave the fight off at 53 seconds of round 9. Comparback stats showed that Usyk landed 32% of his punches and Makunu landed 27%. Now, prior to the fight, Usyk spoke of his desire to fight other cruiserweight champions, as well as fighting Anthony Joshua at heavyweight. Okay? This fight averaged 560,000 viewers on HBO. This was considered good numbers, considering it was Usyk's HBO debut. And he was on the undercard. Okay? So not bad. He went up against Hunter. Usyk versus Hunter. K2 Promotions announced that Usyk would be returning to regular HBO to defend his Cruiserweight World title in April 2017. He was originally planned to appear on the undercard of the triple Golovkin-Jacobs, Gennady Golovkin-Daniel Jacobs HBO pay-per-view in March at Madison Square Garden. But since Roman Gonzalez and Carlos Cuadras were scheduled to appear in separate fights and not fight each other, Usyk was pulled from the card. On February 12, 2017, Usyk announced he had parted ways with longtime trainer James Ali Bashir and replaced him with Vasily Lomachenko's father and trainer, Anatoly Lomachenko. The Father Arum announced that Usyk would be part of a triple hitter, including Vasily Lomachenko at the MGM National Harbor in Oxon Hill, Maryland, on April 8, 2017, against Michael Hunter. Usyk weighed 199.4 pounds, while Hunter came in at 199 even. So that was basically the same weight. So him at the Hunter fight. Okay, here's how that went. Michael Hunter, right? Isn't that where we at? It is him and Hunter. It kind of look like, wait a minute, that's not it. Yes. It is him and Hunter right there. I thought that was Joshua for a minute there. In front of a sold-out crowd of 2,828, where there was majority Ukrainian fans in attendance. Usyk was taking the distance for the second time in his career and won a rather one-sided unanimous decision to retain his WBO title. Hunter unexpectedly controlled the first 3 rounds behind his jab. It wasn't until the 4th round when Usyk took control of the fight, using his left and connecting well to the body to win the majority of the remaining rounds. Now, pundits thought Hunter was gifted going the distance, and the fight should have been stopped by referee Bill Clancy in the championship round. Okay. In the last minute of round 12, it appeared Hunter, while taking punches, was only standing because the ropes were holding him up. The referee halted the action and gave Hunter a standing 8 count, ruling in a knockdown for Usyk. And all three judges scored the fight unanimously, 117-110 for Usyk. Now, although it took him a few rounds to get into the fight, Usyk was happy with his performance and called out other title holders. I'm very happy with my performance. I did what I wanted to do. He took a lot of punches. I thought maybe they would stop the fight in the 12th round. I love to fight any other title holders anytime, any place. Okay? That's what Usyk said after this one. So then they had that tournament, the World Boxing Super Series, and he was in that. There's some of the other fighters that was in it. Murat Gassiev, Maurice Breedis, and Porticos. So yeah, that was pretty good boxers in there. Usyk. World Boxing Super Series. They need more of these tournaments, some of these type tournaments nowadays, you know? But anyway, Usyk ended up winning. I think he came out of that undisputed. Let's talk about it real quick. The World Boxing Super Series. Okay? On July 1st, 2015, Usyk finally announced that he would join fellow cruiserweights Maurice Breedis, Murat Gassiev, Uniel Porticos, Marco Huck, and Christoph Watersick in the 8-man bracket style tournament, due to start in September 2017. Usyk said, "I feel happy and inspired with the idea of such a tournament. I've been dreaming of putting together all the champs to see who is the strongest and becomes the undisputed of the division. And the draw was to take place on July 8th in Monte Carlo. The winner of the tournament will receive a grand monetary prize and the Muhammad Ali trophy." Okay, so these fights are now part of the tournament, I believe. Wait a minute, let me see. No, they aren't. But anyway, Usyk versus Huck. Yeah, I think these fights are part of the tournament. His first fight was Marco Huck. Yeah, Marco Huck. Usyk versus Marco Huck. At the draft gala, these are parts of the tournament. At the draft gala, Usyk, who had first picked, chose to fight former WBO champion Marco Huck. When asked why he chose Huck, Usyk said, "Because of my fans." Huck, who was equally excited, replied that Usyk was his wish opponent also. On July 26th, it was announced that the fight would take place at the Max Schmeling Hall in Berlin, Germany on September 9th, 2017. This would mark the second time Usyk would fight in Germany as a pro, having fought there in his third professional fight in April 2014. It would also mark the first fight of the tournament. On September 6, 2017, at the final press conference, Huck pushed Usyk in the face-off. In regards to the shove, Huck said, "I wanted to show Usyk that he is in my hometown, and that he should be prepared for the battle of his life on Saturday." Now, Usyk, who remained professional and calm, replied, "If you want to be a great champion, you have to beat the best, and Huck is one of the best. I chose to enter this tournament because it is a path to achieve my dream of unifying all the belts. There's a prestigious trophy at stake too, the Muhammad Ali trophy. We were born on the same day, and I admire it because he is the biggest role model in boxing, and I still thank God if I win a trophy with his name on it." Yeah, him and Muhammad Ali was born on the same day. As Usyk was leaving the press conference, he claimed he would bury Huck. Okay, yeah, Usyk said he would bury Huck. Yeah, I read that somewhere before. Him and Muhammad Ali was born on the same day. They said, I'm going to bury Huck, especially after that push. Usyk remained cool after that, right? On fight night, Usyk used his footwork and combination punching to cruise to a TKO win. On top of his dominant performance, Usyk taunted Huck throughout the fight. In round 8, Usyk tripped on Huck's feet, and Huck lost a point on the scorecards as he threw a punch at Usyk when the latter was down. The Usyk continued to land combinations with little to no response from Huck until referee Robert Byrd stopped the fight in the 10th round. With the win, Usyk progressed to the semifinal stage of the Super Series and was to face the winner of the Maurice Breedis versus Mike Perez schedule for September 30th. Okay, so Breedis won that fight. So the next fight was Usyk versus Breedis. This is still a Super 6 tournament. Yeah, he did come out of this as undisputed. Usyk versus Breedis was the second fight. Unified Cruiserweight Champion after this fight. Usyk with Nate's fight, Maurice Breedis. They both were undefeated coming into this fight, following Breedis' win over Perez by unanimous decision. In November 2017, it was reported the fight would take place on January 27, 2018 in Latvia, a week before Gassiev versus Ortikos takes place. That was the other semifinal. The two winners would fight for the championship. Arena Riga was confirmed as the location by Kamos's chief boxing officer, Callie Sauerland. Chief boxing officer, Callie Sauerland. Usyk came in at 199.5 pounds, and Breedis weighed 199.1 pounds. Okay. Usyk moved on to the final of the tournament after winning a close fight against Breedis by a majority decision. Yeah, I know that was a good fight. I've never seen that, him and Breedis. Breedis was a good fighter. With a high work rate, Usyk controlled most of the fight with his jab, applying pressure when he needed to. Breedis was credited with landing the harder punches. The opening 4 rounds were closely contested, with Usyk receiving a cut over his right eye from an accidental clash of heads in the 3rd round. From round 5 forward, Usyk became busier and took control of the fight, although he was still hit with some hard shots to the head and body from Breedis. The one judge scored the fight 114-114, while the other 2 judges scored it 115-113 in favor of Usyk, giving him the win. Wow, what a fight, close fight. After the fight, Usyk stated it was the hardest fight of his career. And according to CompuBox, Usyk landed 25%, and Breedis landed 33.7%. Usyk landed 40% of his power shots, though. Many boxers and pundits praised this fight. Okay, so the final of the tournament was for the undisputed, and it ended up being Usyk and Murat Gassiev. Okay, and that was great. They had this 8-man tournament, and the winner came out undisputed. Gassiev still hanging around out, Booger? Wow. But that was a great tournament. The winner came out undisputed, you know? I did not know Gassiev was still around, though. Wow. What is he, about 50? But anyway, after Usyk defeated Breedis, it was announced at the post-fight press conference that the final would take place in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia on May 11th, 2018. But once Murat Gassiev stopped Uniel Porticos setting up the final, the Secretary General of the Russian Boxing Federation, Omar Kremlev, stated that he would push forward in order to outbid Saudi Arabia and have the final of the tournament take place in Russia. on the day of Russian boxing on July 22nd, right? So they tried to get it in Russia. On April 16th, it was reported that Usyk had suffered an elbow injury during training, pushing the final to possibly June or July 2018. On June 18th, at a press conference, Kremlin announced the final would take place on July 21st at the Olympic Stadium in Moscow, Russia. Yep, so they got it. On June 29th, the fight was officially confirmed. On the release date, 7,000 tickets were sold, and both boxers came in at the exact same weight, 198.45 pounds at the weigh-in. Wow. So the fight. Usyk quickly took control of the fight, moving rapidly and using his beautiful commanding jab, while not allowing Gassiev to rise to use his power. Now, Gassiev did not land a solid punch until the end of round 2. And according to many reports, Usyk outclassed, outboxed, and dominated Gassiev. The result was never in question, as Usyk was declared the winner by unanimous decision. The judges' scorecards reading 120-108 and 119-109 twice. Wow. Shutout on one card, and Gassiev got 1 point on the other 2 cards. Ooh. Usyk's dominance was reflected in the punch stats. He landed 27%, and Gassiev did land 29%. But Usyk used his superior conditioning to finish the fight, increasing his output by landing 47 or 117 punches thrown in the final round. Usyk managed to withstand the 32 power body shots received and continued to move around the ring. Muhammad Ali's widow, Lonnie Ali, presented the trophy to Usyk. After the fight, both Ali's widow, Muhammad Ali's widow presented the trophy. After the fight, both fighters were exemplars of good sportsmanship, embracing, with Gassiev saying, "I had the best opponent of my professional career. Today is Oleksandr Usyk's day." Usyk humbly added, "My team made me look like I looked in the ring. This is our victory." The win made Usyk the first ever 4-belt undisputed cruiserweight champion in history. Yep. 4-belt. Because Holyfield was undisputed at 3 belts in the cruiserweight division. And when asked who he would like to fight next, Usyk said, "At this time, I have heard that Tony Bellew wants to fight the winner of the Muhammad Ali trophy. I hope he will see me talking. Hey, Tony Bellew, are you ready? If he doesn't want to go down and wait, I will go up and wait for him. I will eat more spaghetti for my dinner." Also after the fight, Usyk said, "Olympic Stadium thanks people, countrymen, and those who supported Moscow 2018. Bang, Daddy's in the building." Yeah, Usyk was, I don't think they had that. Ukraine hadn't separated from Russia at that time, right? Okay, excuse me for a minute. Yeah, so Usyk is now undisputed cruiserweight champion. First one in the 4-belt era. Oleksandr Usyk. Okay. One moment. So next is Tony Bellew. Usyk versus Bellew. Yeah, Tony Bellew said he wanted the winner of the tournament, and he got it. Oleksandr Usyk. Yeah. Gassiev. Yeah, but I didn't know Gassiev was still around though. Wow. Man. Me and Gassiev about the same age. Okay, yeah, here we go. Bellew. Tony Bellew. Okay, I'm trying to get this right before we get started. I don't want to stop. Okay, here we go. Usyk versus Bellew. There they are on the screen. After calling out Tony Bellew after winning the tournament, Bellew responded by social media that he would accept the fight. However, he stated the fight would need to take place in 2018 and be for the Undisputed Cruiserweight Championship. Bellew believed the fight at heavyweight would not be as appealing, as he would not gain much with a win. Bellew also stated it would be his last fight as a professional. By the end of July, it was said the fight would likely take place in November 2018 in London. After positive meetings between Bellew's promoter Eddie Hearn and K2's Oleksandr Usyk on August 20th, Boxing Scene reported the fight was likely to take place on November 10th, 2018. A week later, K2 Promotions confirmed the date of the fight. On September 5th, the WBA ordered Usyk to start negotiations with Denis Lebedev, who was their champion in recess, and gave them until the first week of October 2018 to complete negotiations. There was said to be a stumbling block for the potential Usyk versus Bellew fight. According to Eddie Hearn, the fight was likely to be pushed back to 2018. Now, prior to the negotiations, likely to be pushed back to 2019. Now, prior to the negotiations, Bellew stated the fight must happen in 2018. Remember? Now, Eddie Hearn is the promoter talking about it might be pushed back to 2019. On September 7th, Usyk signed a multi-fight deal with Matchroom Boxing, which meant he would fight exclusively on Sky Sports in the UK and DAZN in the United States. The agreement meant Matchroom Boxing would promote Usyk alongside K2 Promotions. Usyk's next fight would be confirmed in the very near future, according to Eddie Hearn. Okay? A week after signing with Matchroom, the Usyk versus Bellew fight was announced to take place on November 10th at the Manchester Arena, live and exclusive on Sky Box Office. Experienced British referee Terry O'Connor was named as the official referee for the fight. Now, Bellew weighed 199.25 pounds, just over 2 years since he made the cruiserweight limit, right? He hadn't fought at cruiserweight in over 2 years. Usyk came in at 198.25 pounds. Okay. So on fight night, Usyk, who is usually a slow starter, eventually took full control of the fight and stopped Bellew in the 8th round to retain all the cruiserweight belts. The official time of the stoppage was at 2 minutes of round 8. There was very little action in round 1, as both boxers showed each other respect. It was a feeling out round. Now, due to the lack of action, the crowd began to boo towards the end of the first round. Overall, Usyk landed just 3 jabs, and Bellew landed 1 power shot. The round 2 was similar. However, Bellew stepped on the gas, managed to land some clean shots, along with some showboating. Now, Bellew took control in round 3, landing 2 straight right hands. Usyk began using his jab more, and after landing an overhand left, Bellew was left slightly shaken. By the end of round 4, Bellew was backed up against the ropes and looked too tired. Bellew aimed most of his shots to Usyk's body, and by round 7 was missing a lot of shots, mostly due to Usyk's foot movement, and ended the round with a bloody nose. In round 8, while in a neutral corner, Usyk landed a hard left, again buzzing Bellew, forcing him to move away against the ropes. Another left hand wobbled Bellew before Usyk finished him off. with another left, dropping him backwards, with his head landing on the bottom ropes. Now, Brave Baloo tried to rise, and he beat the count, but referee Terry O'Connell stopped the fight. And Baloo came in with a 10-fight winning streak, and he came to an end. Judges Alejandro Sid and Steve Gray scored the first 7 rounds, 68-65 and 67-66 respectively, in favor of Baloo. And Yuri Kopsev had to fight 67-67, a draw coming into the 8th round. So Baloo was actually winning the fight when he got stopped. He was actually winning, beating Usyk when he got stopped. But you still had 4 more rounds to go. And after the fight, Baloo paid tribute to Usyk and announced his retirement from boxing, saying, "I've been doing this for 20 years, and it is over." Usyk stated 2018 was the most difficult year of his career, but most successful also. "We need to put goals in front of us and move forward towards them," Usyk later stated. There was a small concern during Baloo's post-fight interview, as many felt he was clearly concussed. And according to CompuBox stats, Usyk landed 26% and Baloo landed 23%. Both fighters landed 47 power shots apiece. And that was his last fight at cruiserweight. He moved up to heavyweight after the Baloo fight. Usyk did. Okay, moved to heavyweight. Okay, excuse me for a moment. We're gonna start back up in a minute. Okay, I'm back. So after the Baloo fight, Usyk moved up to heavyweight. Okay. He said, "I've been boxing since I was 15 years old. They kept telling me that I shouldn't be boxing. They told me that I wouldn't become an Olympic champion or a world champion, and that I shouldn't have switched to the heavyweight division. But these were opinions from people who couldn't do it themselves. Personally, I keep praying and move forward. I don't worry about whether I will reach my destination." Okay? And so after defeating Baloo, Usyk declared his intention to move up to heavyweight. Carlos Takam was announced to be his opponent, with the fight scheduled for May 25th, 2019. On May 7th, it was reported that Usyk had suffered a bicep injury in training. The fight was rescheduled for a date in September to be featured on DAZN. On August 22nd, following the Golovkin vs. Derevyanchenko press conference, promoter Eddie Hearn revealed in an interview that Carlos Takam is out of the fight and will not be taking the fight against Usyk. Okay? Usyk also had the option to challenge the winner of the rematch between Andy Ruiz Jr. and Anthony Joshua for the WBA, IBF, WBO, and IBO heavyweight titles as a mandatory for the WBO belt, as per WBO regulations, which allow a super champion of a weight class to become an immediate mandatory challenger when moving up or down in weight. Yeah, that's how the WBO did it. So if Usyk, when he moved to heavyweight, he immediately became the challenger for the winner of Andy Ruiz and AJ. But his first fight at heavyweight was Chaz Witherspoon. Chaz Witherspoon. Going backwards. There we go. Yeah, him and Witherspoon. Usyk versus Witherspoon. On September 3rd, 2019, it was announced by Matchroom Boxing and K2 Promotions that Usyk's heavyweight debut, as well as the American debut, would be on October 12th at the Wintrust Arena in Chicago, Illinois, against 33-year-old undefeated heavyweight Tyrone Spong. I could have sworn he fought in Los Angeles before. It says American debut. Remember, he fought somebody in the home of the Lakers in California earlier. I could have sworn that. But anyway, this fight was supposed to be against Tyrone Spong in Chicago. Now, Spong held the WBO and WBC Latino heavyweight titles and was only taken a distance in 2018, where he defeated Natalo Pereira. Usyk wanted to challenge himself in his first heavyweight fight. He acknowledged Spong for being fast and powerful. Okay? Usyk's U.S. debut was coming along as a success before even stepping into the ring. As only 2 weeks after the fight was announced, over 6,000 tickets were sold, including all lower bowl and floor seats. It was said that around 600 tickets remained. A few days before the fight, Spong tested positive for a banned substance, clomiphene, and the fight was thrown into disarray. Promoter Eddie Hearn said there were several backup fighters being considered. Spong and his team were not happy that Eddie Hearn had received the news and already put out a post on his social media about Spong being replaced before they had received an email about it. The announced face-off that day was immediately called off. Now, according to Spong's manager, Marcos Gonzalez, he had been tested negative for other tests. On the positive test, Spong said, "This is a setup. I vehemently deny that I had ever taken any substance named in Barter's report. I've asked for testing of the B sample in a laboratory of my choosing." No, you can't do that of your choosing. He said testing performed last week at the request of the Illinois Boxing Commission showed what I've always known, that I'm a clean fighter. Now, Eddie Hearn confirmed that there was a short list of replacements for this fight. So Spong was out. He tested positive for the banned substance, clomiphene. Never heard of it, clomiphene. Okay. So Spong's replacement was then announced as 38-year-old Chaz Witherspoon, mostly known for being former WBA and WBC heavyweight champion. Tim Witherspoon's cousin. Okay? That's what he was known for, being Big Tim's cousin. Now, Chaz Witherspoon, who was on an 8-fight winning streak, said he had been training, waiting for a possible call-up. He also warned Usyk, "I've been in training, ready for a big fight, and it doesn't get any bigger than this." Usyk is stepping up to heavyweight, and he's going to find out that it's a totally different game up here. The Witherspoon felt this was his time to show everyone that what he can do on the big stage. For his heavyweight debut, Usyk weighed in at 215 pounds, and Witherspoon stepped on the scales at 242 pounds. Wow, Witherspoon was much bigger than Usyk. Usyk was 215, Witherspoon was 242. It's like a 27-pound difference. On fight night, Spong issued a statement confirming his third urine sample, which was tested on October 2nd, came out as negative, reiterating his stance as being a clean fighter. He also suggested that the previous two positive results had been manipulated and asked who was responsible. Spong had already scheduled your replacement, so I don't know why he even still talking. Right, excuse me for a minute. Already replaced them, then had the weigh in and everything, so he's out. But one without. Okay. Yeah. So Spong is still complaining, but he's effectively out of the fight. He already got his replacement and everything, Okay. To Usyk versus Witherspoon. In front of 9,073 in attendance, Usyk won the fight as Witherspoon retired in his corner after round 7. Witherspoon was more active during the opening rounds. He landed some hard shots, which left some bruising over Usyk's right eye. Usyk tried to land shots on the back foot. By round 5, Witherspoon had slowed down. He was frequently against the ropes, and Usyk was able to land clean shots at will. By the end of round 7, it was all Usyk. Witherspoon sat on a stool in the corner exhausted, and his trainer, Tommy Brooks, told referee Hector Afu to call the fight. During the post-fight interviews, when asked if he would have stopped Witherspoon earlier, Usyk said, "I did what my trainer told me to do. I just followed their orders. And that was the box. And I did box. But if I had the opportunity, I would take that opportunity." Usyk was also asked if it felt different at the weight, to which he replied, "Yes, there's a little bit of a difference, but I used to fight as a heavyweight in the amateurs. But yes, it was different." Usyk preferred to fight at heavyweight during his amateur career. Now, asked about Usyk's power, Witherspoon said he was not hurt by Usyk's punches, rather criticized his own conditioning for the fight. Witherspoon also predicted that Usyk would be successful as a heavyweight. Okay. So then, Usyk versus Chisora. What's his next fight? Usyk versus Chisora. Derek Chisora. What's up, Maximus? What's up, Maximus? Where's Mike Pen at? Here it is. Okay. All right. So Usyk versus Chisora. Derek Chisora. Oh, 318. Okay. Stay with me for a minute, please. Here we go. Usyk versus Chisora. On March 11th, 2020, it was announced that Usyk would fight former world title challenger Derek Chisora May 23rd at the O2 Arena in London. Now, the fight was to take place on Sky Sports box office in the UK and on the Zone in the United States. Now, Sky Sports head of box development, Adam Smith, described the fight as a classic heavyweight clash. If successful, Usyk would be first in line to fight for the WBO heavyweight title held by Anthony Joshua. On March 17th, there were already talks about sports events being canceled around the UK due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay? Matchroom Boxing had already canceled their shows around the world for March and April. Eddie Hearn confirmed he had contingency plans in place in case any fights were postponed. He had backup dates lined up for the summer. As the days continued, Hearn admitted it was looking less likely this fight would take place on the original scheduled date. On March 30th, the British Boxing Board of Control extended the suspension until the end of May, following the guidelines from government and medical authorities, meaning the fight would be postponed. Eddie Hearn hinted the fight could take place in Saudi Arabia if the country was to exit lockdown before the UK did. Okay? So a date in October 2020 was being discussed. Usyk against Chisora had continued to train for the upcoming fight. Now the fight was pushed back to October 31st, 2020 because of the pandemic. And the venue was moved to the SSE Arena in London. Now according to CBS Sports, Chisora was a plus 475 betting underdog. Usyk was reported to earn 1.8 million pound, a 1.8 million pound purse. For a second heavyweight fight, Usyk weighed in 217 and a quarter pounds, and Chisora came in at 255 and a half pounds. A 38-pound weight advantage over Usyk. But that didn't make any difference. 38-pound weight advantage. On the night, Usyk used his superior footwork and stamina to wear Chisora down and win a unanimous decision victory with scores 117-112 and 115-113 twice. Okay? So then he became a unified heavyweight champion. Anthony Joshua. Usyk versus Joshua. And y'all buddy. Unified heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua, for whom Usyk was the WBO mandatory challenger, had been in negotiations to fight undefeated WBC and the ring champion Tyson Fury. But when it appeared that Fury would instead be forced to face former WBC champion Deontay Wilder in a trilogy fight due to an arbitration ruling, the WBO gave Joshua's camp 48 hours to come to an agreement for the fight with Fury on May 21st, 2021. They would instead order Joshua to face Usyk. Now, Joshua and Fury's camps could not reach an agreement, and thus on May 22nd, the WBO issued the instructions that Joshua would have to fight Usyk, with an agreement for the fight to be in place by May 31st. And then in July 20th, an official announcement was made confirming that the fight between Usyk and Joshua would be taking place on September 25th at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So let's go fast forward to the fight. Well, that was one. Yeah, this was the first fight between Usyk and Joshua. On July 20th, an official announcement was made confirming that the fight between Usyk and Joshua would be taking place on September 25th at Tottenham Stadium. There was an announcement and crowd of 66,267 in attendance. Although many fans and pundits doubted Usyk, who had the size and power to trouble Joshua, Usyk produced an upset, outboxing the champion. and rocking him several times over 12 rounds to claim a unanimous decision victory. Scores 117-112, 116-112, and 115-113. On June 22nd, it was announced a rematch was scheduled to take place in Saudi Arabia on August 20th. Okay? Usyk and Joshua too. They had the rematch. Saudi Arabia. Okay, Usyk Joshua too. Bear with me for a second, please. Getting stuck here. On September 29th, 2021, 4 days after Usyk defeated Anthony Joshua to become unified world heavyweight champion, it was announced by his promoter, Oleksandr Usyk, that a one-sided rematch clause, which had been specified in the fight contract, had already been activated in principle from the side of Joshua. Yeah, Usyk didn't have a rematch if he lost because Joshua was the champion, so he activated his rematch clause to fight Usyk again. And so Usyk wins the second fight with Joshua. It's late. Then Usyk versus Dubois. Daniel Dubois was after that. That's when they had the controversial low blow. Then Usyk got up and dominated Dubois, winning that one. Then he came to Tyson Fury. Usyk versus Fury won. Usyk faced WBC champion Tyson Fury for the undisputed heavyweight title in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The fight contract signing was announced on September 29, 2023, while on November 16, 2023, the fight was officially scheduled for February 17, 2024. The total purse was reported to be worth around $150 million. Okay? With Fury being guaranteed 70% of the purse. On May 18th, in a historic fight, Usyk defeated Fury by a split decision to become the first undisputed heavyweight champion in the four-belt era and the first undisputed heavyweight champion in 24 years since Lennox Lewis back in 2000. The opening rounds of the fight were closely contested, with Usyk applying constant pressure and landing power punches, while Fury found success with his jab, fighting off the back foot. From round 4, Fury became increasingly dominant, appearing to hurt Usyk with uppercuts in round 6. However, in the later rounds, Usyk began to mount a comeback, particularly in a dramatic 9th round, where he was able to badly hurt Fury with a series of punches, scoring a knockdown near the end of the round as Fury fell into the ropes. Although Fury was able to recover and attempted to rally, the judges ultimately awarded Usyk the split decision, 115-112, 114-113 for Usyk, 114-113 for Fury. Okay? And then Usyk versus Fury too. Usyk and Fury were expected to meet in a rematch in October 2024 at Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. On May 29th, 2024, it was announced that the rematch was scheduled for December 21st, 2024. And the total purse for the rematch was reportedly worth $190 million. Okay? $190 million for the second Fury Usyk fight. Usyk won the fight by unanimous decision, with all three ringside judges scoring at 116 to 112. The fight was just as competitive as the first encounter. By the end of the fight, neither fighter was particularly hurt. Usyk landed with some stinging shots, which pushed Fury back, while Fury landed some hard shots to head and body. A few times in the fight, Fury turned southpaw. He tried to lean on Usyk and wear him down, but Usyk did well to fight him off and keep him at a distance. He used his footwork to move strategically around the ring. Okay? So Usyk won both of the Fury fights. Okay? Then he had a rematch with Dubois. Usyk Dubois too. Usyk Dubois too. There they are. March 12, 2025, Sky Sports reported that Usyk was in talks to fight Daniel Dubois in a rematch for the undisputed heavyweight title. Okay? This is when Usyk won the heavyweight title for the second time. Okay? There was heavy rain on the day, but there was still a crowd of around 90,000 people to watch the fight. Usyk Dubois too. Okay. In an impressive display of skill, Usyk dispatched Dubois in their rematch, securing a knockout in the fifth round of a one-sided contest. With his victory, Usyk once again unified the heavyweight division, earning the title of undisputed champion for the second time in his career. In the opening round, Usyk showcased a sharp jab, establishing control early in the fight. But by the second round, Dubois rebounded effectively, gaining a slight advantage. In round 3, Dubois was briefly rattled by a powerful left hook, but Usyk's intelligent footwork effectively prevented Dubois from finding any opportunities to retaliate. In the fifth round, Usyk first sent Dubois to the canvas with a right hook to the temple. After Dubois returned to his feet, in the next sequence, Usyk delivered the decisive knockout with a flush left hook. Usyk joked that this left hook was called Ivan. Ivan is a Ukrainian name. Ivan is a big guy who lives in a village and works for his family. It's a hard punch, Ivan is. After being dropped the second time, Dubois rose to his knees but allowed himself to be counted out. At the time of the stoppage, Usyk had 40, 36, 39, 37, 39, 37. All three judges had Usyk winning. Okay, let's talk about the potential next fight for Usyk. Next fight. On July 24th, 2025, the WBO officially reordered Usyk to make a mandatory defense against interim champion Joseph Parker. According to Dave Higgins, Parker's longtime manager, as of August 1st, there had not been any negotiations for a fight. On August 14th, Frank Warren stated that Usyk requested an extension because of an injury. On September 7th, the WBO provided Usyk with a 90-day extension, but determined that he must compete against the victor of the Parker versus Fabio Wardley fight, which was announced after Usyk received the extension. On October 17th, it was reported that Usyk had decided to extend his boxing career beyond 2026 after originally stating his plans to retire after one more fight. He ruled out fighting Moses Atama in his next fight. He aims to retire at the age of 41, after which he plans on establishing a sports academy to train others. On October 30th, Frank Warren stated that discussions commenced to defend his title against Fabio Wardley. He mentioned, because Fabio Wardley beat Parker, remember? And Warren mentioned that an agreement cannot be reached. If the agreement cannot be reached, the fight will proceed to purse bid. So it looks like Wardley is going to be next, though. What is Usyk's fighting style? Oleksandr Usyk fighting style. What's up, old school? Oleksandr Usyk today. Old school. Old school from the Angry White Men coming up tonight at 10 p.m. Salute. Finishing up Oleksandr Usyk. Yes, salute, old school. Appreciate you stopping by. Okay, this was kind of long. I couldn't finish everything like I wanted to, but we just tried to get all the fights. But what was Usyk's fighting style? Now, Usyk is known for his sublime footwork, his ability to control the pace of a fight, and his high punch output. His mental strength and ring craft have also been praised. Former world champion Shannon Briggs noted that Usyk's standard of conditioning changed the game in the heavyweight division. Briggs stated, in the 12th round, Usyk is as strong as in the first round. He's throwing punches like it's the first round. No one has ever done that in the history of boxing. Yes, they have. Rocky Marciano used to be throwing punches in the 15th round. That's as strong as he was throwing in the first round. So did Smoking Joe Frazier. Usyk not the only one that trait to be, as strong in the last round as it was in the first. Now listen to this. This is part of his training regimen that Usyk used. Listen to this. While training for a fight, Usyk spars 15 rounds of 3.5 minutes with 20 seconds rest in between the rounds, facing a new opponent for each round, eventually accumulating 250 rounds of sparring in camp. 15 rounds of 3.5 minutes, 20 seconds in between each round, with 15 different sparring partners. That's part of his training rhythm, right? To improve stamina and control breathing, he swims laps in the pool for over 5 hours a session. Wow. No wonder he can be throwing so many punches in the 15th round. 12th round. Wow. That's a hell of a training regimen there. 15 3.5 minute rounds, not 3, but 15 different sparring partners each round. A fresh guy get to come in like after 12 rounds with Usyk against Usyk, and he'd already sparred 12 rounds against 12 different partners, and then he got 3 more against 3 more fresh partners, sparring partners. Wow. Personal life. Usyk is married and has 4 children. They live in Kiev, Ukraine. His wife has both Ukrainian and Russian citizenship. Usyk practices multiple martial arts outside of boxing, including jiu-jitsu, sambo, and judo. He is an Orthodox Christian. In April 2014, after the annexation of Crimea by the Russian Federation, Usyk declared he would never change his Ukrainian citizenship for Russian citizenship. In 2016, Usyk said that he often visits family in Crimea, that he does not like to talk politics due to the fact that people take words out of context, that in Russia he has as many fans, and that he does not wish to divide people because we are Slav, all of us. afterwards. Whenever pressed on the question, Usyk often replied, "Crimea belongs to God." In May 2020, Usyk was listed on the Marovets website for repeating the Kremlin's statement that Russia and Ukraine are one nation, rejecting Russian aggression and denying the independence of Ukraine. Yeah, that's a picture of him and the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, right there. It is Usyk and Zelensky, right? President of Ukraine. And we're going to end it right there. There you have the life and career of Oleksandr Usyk. What's up, y'all? And Kensaw loved one. Usyk is a active fighter. First Friday of the month, we do active fighters. Oleksandr Usyk. Okay, to finish it off, let's look at the Cast Sports currently top 10 ranked heavyweights. Since we did Usyk today, he's a heavyweight. These are the top 10 current heavyweights in the world right now. Of course, number one is Usyk. We're going to go right past Usyk because we just talked about him for the last hour. He's ranked number one. Oleksandr Usyk. Okay. Number two is I went backwards. There's number two. It's Tyson Fury, ranked number two at heavyweight current. Okay. Oh, come on. We got 15 minutes. We're going to get these top 10 in. Number two is Tyson Fury. I think. Man. Come on. Number two, Tyson Fury. I should have known he would mess up. Tyson Fury. It is Tyson Fury. The Gypsy Gang. Tyson Luke Fury is a British boxer, former WBC and lineal heavyweight champion. He held unified titles from 2015 to 2016 and the Ring Magazine title twice between 2015 and 2022. Fury announced his retirement in January 2025. Fury's amateur career included a bronze medal in the 2006 World Junior Championships and a gold medal in the 2008 English National Championships. His amateur record was 31-4 with 26 knockouts. Okay, number three, current top 10 heavyweights is Daniel Dubois. Number three, Daniel Dubois. Number three, Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois, damn it. Let me type this in here. I was trying to use these voice commands, but it ain't working. There it is. Daniel. Okay. Number three. Now, Daniel is also a British pro boxer and former world champion. He held the WBA heavyweight title from 2022 to 2023 and the IBF heavyweight title from 24 to 25. And Daniel is known for his powerful jab. He fights on the front foot, and he's won fights against Philip Hergovich, Gerald Miller, and Anthony Joshua, all by knockout. He was on a nice little run one time. but he's been stopped twice by Oleksandr Usyk. Okay, I think what 23 and this year. No, it's been twice. Okay, number 4 is Gas Sports Top 10 current heavyweights. AJ. Anthony Joshua. He's running heavyweight. United States, man, we the cupboard is bare at heavyweight. Very big. Wow. We have a top 10 heavyweight? No, I don't think so. Josh, Wilder ain't top 10 no more. Anthony Joshua, another British pro boxer and 2-time heavyweight champion. Okay. He held the unified world heavyweight title twice. He had the British and Commonwealth titles. And Joshua has defeated notable opponents like Vladimir Klitschko, Dillian White, and Andy Ruiz Jr. He also won an Olympic gold medal representing Great Britain. Okay? So rounded out the top 5 for the heavyweights is Ajit Karbayel. Very underrated. Ajit Karbayel. Usyk's not going to fight Karbayel. He's going to go ahead and retire before he do that. That's who I get the best chance of taking him out. But I'm not saying Karbayel would do it. I'm saying I give him the best chance. Now, Karbayel is a German-born pro boxer and a prominent figure in the heavyweight division currently. He's held the WBC interim title since February 2025. And he's also won the European heavyweight title twice. In 2017 and 2024, he had the European title. He successfully defended that title multiple times, including a majority decision over Derek Chisora in 2017. Karbayel's parents are from Hasarcik, Turkey, and he is fought in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Okay. Number 6, back half of the top 5 now. Coming in at number 6 is Fabio Woodley, on the strength of beating Joseph Parker. Yeah. Got to put Woodley in front of Parker. He beat him. No way you can have Parker in front of him. He lost to the man. So 6 is Woodley. And Woodley is another British pro boxer, right? They got like 5 of the top 6, something like that. Only one not is Karbayel. Woodley has held the World Boxing Organization heavyweight title since November. Just got it last month, 2025. He has also held the WBA interim title since 2025. Okay. Number 7, of course, is Parker. Parker is number 7. Joe Parker. So we're gonna get these last couple in. We're going to get on up out of here. Don't forget, Monday is Don King. Brought to you by BBO Sports TV. Joe Parker is 7. The Cash Sports Top 10 current heavyweight. Joe Parker is from New Zealand. Pro boxer. What you call him? New Zealander? Yeah, New Zealander, I guess. He held the WBO I don't know. Oh, come on. That blinked out on me. Parker did. Okay, he held the WBO heavyweight title from 2016 to 2018. Okay. At regional level, Parker has held multiple heavyweight championships, including the WBO, Oriental, Africa, and Oceania titles. Okay, 8. Last 3. Number 8 is Zhilei Zhang still in there. Is he still fighting? Zhilei Zhang? I think. Zhilei Zhang still active. I believe he's 40. I don't know if he's still active or not, but I got him back on my top 10. Number 8, Zhilei Zhang, 2 more to go. Zhilei Zhang is a Chinese pro boxer He had the WBO interim heavyweight title from 23 to 24. Number 9 is Martin Bakole, the big boy. Martin Bakole, number 9. Martin Bakole. Where is he from? Africa? Somewhere. Yeah, Bakole is a Congolese pro boxer. Fights in the heavyweight division. Trains in Glasgow, Scotland, though, with Coach Billy Nelson. He won minor, international, and continental titles, but has yet to challenge for a world title. He fought for the interim title in 20 against Parker and lost that fight, remember? Okay, and finally, number 10, rounding out the top 10, is Filip Hrgovic. Rounding out the top 10 is Hrgovic throwing a big overhand right. Yeah, that's an overhand. He's coming right over. Yeah. Then we're going to review him. Then we're going to get on up. Get on up. Filip Hrgovic. G.O. Cass. G.O. The voice commands won't work. I had to type. I had the voice again. I would have been finished. But Filip Hrgovic is a Croatian pro boxer and heavyweight contender. As an amateur, he won a bronze medal at the 2016 Rio de Janeiro Olympics. He got gold at the 2015 European Championship. 2024, he challenged for the IBF interim heavyweight title. He lost that. 2020, August 16, 2025, he defeated David Adelaide by unanimous decision. Okay, let's review the Cass Sports current top 10. Heavyweight. Why didn't you get the records? I don't have the records. Number 1, Oleksandr Usyk. We know he's 24-0. Oh, Lord. Number 1, Oleksandr Usyk. Number 2, Tyson Fury. Number 3, Daniel Dubois. Number 4, Anthony Joshua. Running out the Cass Sports top 10, top 5 heavyweights. Ajit Caballero. Number 6, Fabio Wardley. Number 7, Joseph Parker. Okay. Number 8, Big Zilly Zhang. Number 9, Big Martin Bakole. Wouldn't that be a fight, Zhang and Bakole? Woo. Rounding out the top 10, number 10, Filip Hrgovic. Okay. That's the week. Don't forget Don King on Monday, y'all. It's going to be good. Brought to you by BBO Sports TV. Okay. Appreciate everybody that stopped by today. Kensaw Love, 1. Jaw. I can't pronounce that other name, Jaw. Wilt's Daddy Him. Wilt's Daddy Him, yeah. That's Jaw. William Old Schooler Rant. One half for the Angry White Men. Coming up tonight at 10 p.m., as a matter of fact. Maximus. Al Booger. BBO Sports TV. Mike Rem. Mike Mazik. And Miss Cat. Appreciate everybody 1,000%. We'll be back next week with some more boxing history, starting out with Don King himself Monday. Love him or hate him, Don King is one of the most significant figures in boxing history. I got in top 5, him and the Godfather. I did the 50 most significant. We're gonna do that again soon because we got to run that. It's time to pull that out again. The 50 most significant. We're probably gonna do that one day next week too. Don King Monday, maybe the 50 most significant Tuesday. Don King and the Godfather is both top 5. Okay, they brought us some fights, so still bringing us fights, both in the 90s. Somebody said when George Foreman passed, they said, Don King gonna outlive all those fighters from the 70s. I said, shit, Don King gonna outlive some of these fighters fighting now. The way he going, right? Well, yeah, Don King Monday, but I appreciate everybody. Got that great card tomorrow. I know the replacement for what's the guy that tested positive? I can't even remember his name now. The one that tested positive. Janabek. Wasn't it Janabek? He's gonna fight Lara. His replacement is Rohan. What's his name? I can't remember nothing. I'm gonna tell you in a minute. We still got 4 minutes before Just Do come on. Yeah, but he came on short notice. He got his notice on fight week that he stepped in. But if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Opening come up, step right in there. And he had to have been ready. Rohan Gonzalez is a replacement for Johan. Replacement for Janabek going against Lara. For Lara's WBA middleweight title. 160. Okay. Yeah, that's tomorrow. Pitbull and Lamont Roach. It's gonna be a good one. That's the headliner. And Oshaki and Cool Boy, wow, that's gonna be a high level chess match there. I mean super high level chess match there. I think I got Cool Boy. Because Cool Boy can fight that inside game. You remember when he fought what's his name? Figueroa, wasn't it? A few years back. Fought up in the pocket. I think he's more versatile than Oshaki. So I'm picking Cool Boy for this one. And Jesus Ramos and Shane Mosley Jr. Jesus. Frank Martin back in action. Francis Bartholomew. That could be good there. Isaac Lucero versus Roberto Valenzuela Jr. And Luis Nunez versus Hector Sosa. That is a great card there, man. That's one of the best ones of the year. Mm-hmm. And it's tomorrow. Dopo Domani. That's tomorrow in Italian. So I speak 6 languages. Okay. 5 of them is English. All right. But everybody have a great weekend. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Box Story bringing you all that boxing history. Appreciate y'all. I'm a salute, T-Hill. You know you was going to have my brother. Have a good weekend, T-Hill. I'm out.